This city has only 16,558 inhabitants, but it is carrying out the economic weight of a whole country. To the untrained eye, Kalundborg on the Danish island of Zealand might seem like nothing but a small town in the neck of a fjord. A settlement that grew up and survived until today. A city that today doesn't even make it to the top 10 Danish cities by population. But to the knowledgeable, Kalundborg is much more than that. It holds the key to the consistent economic growth that Denmark has experienced in the last few years. And that is because Kalundborg, despite its lackluster character, is home to a behemoth of a company. Its name, Novo Nordisk. This Danish pharmaceutical manufacturer, which for most of its history only produced insulin and drugs to treat diabetes, is today the largest company in the whole European continent. In Denmark alone, Novo Nordisk has such a notable size, it accounts for a larger market capitalization than all the rest of the Danish stock-traded companies combined. All this is thanks to the boom of one particular type of medicine, weight loss drugs. A boom that in just a couple of years has taken the pharmaceutical market by storm and changed Kalundborg and Denmark forever. This is how a drug turned a small town into Denmark's biggest manufacturer. The story of Novo Nordisk starts with a small settlement at the narrowest point of what today is Kalundborg's fjord. A small presence in the northeastern part of the Zealand island that became permanent around 1170 BC. It later became one of the favourite royal seats during the Middle Ages, only to be razed by the neighbouring Swedes in 1658. However, the importance of Kalundborg in the past did not foresee the importance that this small town would hold in the future. In the next centuries, the town grew up to become an important trading post and later on an industrial city. It wasn't, however, until the 1920s that something happened that would go on to push the snowball that would change the importance of Kalundborg forever. It is the early 1920s, and the doctor, Danish Marie Krogh, suffers from diabetes. This illness makes it impossible for her body to regulate its sugar levels, provoking false hunger, fatigue, an array of different symptoms that make life especially difficult for Marie. Moreover, most patients didn't live long once they developed the illness, which by then had never been cured. That's why, when promising results in controlling diabetes are obtained in Canada, Marie's husband, the Nobel laureated Dr. August Krogh, jumps on a boat and heads to North America in 1921. He is resolved to secure permission to start manufacturing the promising substance, insulin, back home. When he boards the boat home, he has secured the permission of Canadian surgeon Frederick Banting and his student Charles Best, the only people who had managed to isolate the substance from the animal's pancreases. And as such, the Danish physician is about to set the first stone of what would become the largest pharmaceutical behemoth of the whole European continent. Once he secured the rights, Krogh opened the company that started everything, the Nordisk Insulin Laboratorium, and in just over 50 years, the company is at the forefront of innovation around insulin, and in 1985 the company created the first ever insulin pen. By 1989, already under the Novo Nordisk denomination, Krogh's company became the world's largest insulin producer. Novo Nordisk's most recent successes have a lot to thank for the inevitable pull a weight loss medication has on humans. Besides its undeniable benefits for people suffering from obesity and other weight-related illnesses, in a world of images and videos of Botox, outfits and likes, the appeal of a substance that helps losing weight without the rigors of diet and exercise is undeniable. And the world can't have enough of them. In 2023, the world's market for these type of drugs was valued at $6 billion. In the next few years, the demand for them, as their uses are expanded to other diseases, is expected to explode. According to Morgan Stanley research, the market of weight loss drugs could increase 15-fold by 2030, reaching a total of $105 billion. But the world has already embraced these types of medications. According to the healthcare analytics firm IQVIA, the global spending on obesity medications reached $24 billion in 2023. Today, Novo Nordisk is Europe's largest company by market capitalization. It tops the ranking over companies like the French Nestlé, the Swiss pharmaceutical Roche Holdings, or the German SAP. Within Denmark, its influence is even more staggering. In Kalundborg alone, the company employs 4,500 people, a quarter of the town's population. Moreover, the economic contribution of the company to the region and the country hasn't stopped growing in the last years. According to the mayor of Kalundborg, Martin Dam, between 2010 and 2024, the corporate tax revenue in the city grew from 2.7 million euros to more than 27 million. A tenfold rise that has allowed Kalundborg's households to enjoy a considerable lower unemployment rate, an increase in its disposable income, and a growing amount of local projects, such as a new train station that serves the neighborhoods sprawling out of Novo Nordisk's facilities. The current Novo Nordisk market capitalization is larger than the rest of Denmark's GDP. The strength of the company's growth alone helped the country avoid a recession in 2023. Last year, the country's economy was forecasted to shrink by 0.3% and ended up growing at 1.9% according to the World Bank. According to the Danske Bank, the Danish economy is predicted to grow an additional 2.1% in 2024, a number that comes primarily from Novo Nordisk contribution to the country's economy. Now, the company may be sitting on another weight loss pill success story. According to the Danish giant, the latest trials of a new weight loss-inducing pill show it could be even more effective than both Ozempic and Wegovy, and be more appealing to the patients due to it eliminating completely the need for injections. Seeing the latest twist in the Danish economic development, economists have started ringing the alarm bells. The risk, they say, is that the country follows in the footsteps of one of its neighbors, Finland. For this northern country, it all started with a tiny company founded in 1865 that switched industries, going from paper to rubber to chemical products, to finally land in electronics and communications in the 70s. A company that went on later to make the most durable phones ever known to mankind. Its name? Nokia. The Finnish telecommunications firm made considerable profits by pioneering the GSM mobile standard, virtually offsetting a few decades of economic decline. By 2000, it accounted for 4% of Finland's GDP, 70% of Helsinki's stock exchange market capitalization, over 20% of the country's exports, and a whopping 14% of corporate tax revenues. This outsized contribution made the Finnish economy over-dependent on Nokia's business. This situation did not explode thanks to the approach by the Finnish government, which invested Nokia's tax profits into fostering other industries and innovation. The truth is that between 2008 and 2015, the Finnish company sales dropped almost 25%. This way, Finland managed to avoid an economic catastrophe when Nokia finally lost steam, and a big part of its business when smartphones arrived, rendering GSM phones obsolete. Now experts are warning that if Denmark doesn't plan for the decline of Novo Nordisk, the Scandinavian country might not be as fortunate. According to Jens Nervik Pedersen, an analyst of the Danske Bank, if Novo Nordisk's rate of sales and production growth were for some reason to slow or even reverse, the Danish economy would no longer reap the economic benefits, an event that might end up having terrible consequences for the Danish economy. Among others, the potential decline of the pharmaceutical whale could have a negative impact on the Danish GDP, as well as over other indicators such as the unemployment and interest rates. In the case of Denmark, this risk might be a future one, but is in any way observable in the present. In August, the government revised its own GDP growth predictions in view of the weaker demand for pharmaceutical products. They did so after pharmaceutical production fell a considerable 12.2% in the first quarter of 2024. According to their thesis, the slower pharmaceutical sales would entail that the country's GDP would grow 1.9% instead of the 2.7% it was initially predicted to. A taste of what could happen if the Scandinavian country maintains the over-reliance of its GDP growth in a single company operating in a single sector. A taste, nonetheless, that sets the risks for the future, but one that in the meantime is propelling the Danish economy forward thanks to the production of one single company, the mighty Novo Nordisk.